You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
You're watching Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. Once again, hi everyone, I'm Rich Mancuso. Later on, my co-host, Brandon Colon, joins me. Of course, he'll give you the latest in the NBA and the NFL with training camps just about a few days away, ready to open for the NFL. And of course, Big John is here again in the locker room. And I think we're going to get him back in the cages again. And I think bunting's going to be the tip this week. We'll see how John could do with bunting, a part of baseball we hardly see anymore. Thank you again for supporting us here at Sports with Rich, all bases covered each and every week. Live on YouTube, Facebook Live, also Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media channel you are tuned into on your phones, your tablets. Be involved, leave us a message. We will be going live with the program where we'll start taking your phone calls and also interact with you on the message boards come September. Stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we invite you always to log in to Facebook, to the Sports with Rich All Bases Covered page on Facebook. Like the page, join in, leave your comments. We'll get back to you. So we have another 2 hours or so of sports, and we're going to line up someone on the lines for baseball. We'll see who we're going to get. That'll be determined. We have maybe Howie Carpenter maybe again from Sirius Satellite Radio, or even the great Wally Mathews, who's a columnist here in New York, who does great work and covers the Yankee beat, the Met beat, baseball overall, and boxing. Of course, one of my favorites, as you all know. Of course, a little WWE as well. It's all a part of upcoming, in the next 2 hours, Sports with Rich, all bases covered. And again, sponsored by Astra Mini Market in the Bronx. And we got to remember, Astra Mini Market, all your deli needs, and of course, your shopping in the market at the same time. And don't forget that Louis is a guy from the Astra Mini Market who fixes up those great deli sandwiches along with Ray. And of course, Rob from Razor Sharp. Don't forget all your razor needs. Get a good trim, get a good haircut. Go see Rob and get Razor Sharp. So, here we are, another week, and we're coming off baseball's All-Star game and the break and the second half. Well, how about that All-Star game in Washington, D.C. the other night, where I was, along with 43,000 other baseball enthusiasts? Well, give or take a few, could care less. And you know what? This baseball all-star game, known as the Midsummer Classic, to me, I'm starting to say more and more, I could care less. It's meaningless. And we saw that the other night at Nationals Park down in Washington, D.C. Well, first of all, if you're hosting the game in Washington, D.C., and the White House is no more than 2 miles away from that ballpark, then I think the President of the United States should have the decency to be throwing out the first pitch, don't you think? But no. My sources tell me that they reached out to the White House and Donald Trump said no. You figure that out. Was going to get booed off the mound, that's why, or he can't throw a pitch right. Either way, the game progressed. The game went on. This, the annual All-Star game known as the Midsummer Classic, should be now known as the Home Run Derby game. Well, wait. That took place the night before, didn't it? Right? The Home Run Derby became the All-Star game. A record number 10 home runs, 25 strikeouts by combined pitching from both leagues, the AL and the NL. Now you tell me, my friends, is this baseball? Absolutely not. You don't see hit and run. You don't see the bunt. Thank goodness there were no shifts. At least I didn't see any when I was there. But you saw a lot of home runs. And my friends, doesn't that epitomize what baseball is like today? Home runs and the strikeout. In fact, 14 runs scored by both teams was the second most since 2002 in an All-Star game known as the Midsummer Classic. And the 10 home runs again just broke a record. First, Aaron Judge started it all up, and he's the face of baseball for the New York Yankees, so what did you expect? And then Mike Trout off Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets with a long shot. Then Wilson Contreras gets the third one. How about Trevor Story of the Colorado Rockies? He's a home run hitter, so why not? Hit a home run. Juan Segura, here you go. He joins the party. Christian Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. He slugged one long. And on went, including Scooter Gennett's shot that tied the game 5-5. And then you get the back-to-back jobs, or belly-to-belly, as John Sterling would say, the longtime Yankees broadcaster, from two of the Houston Astros, Alex Bregman and George Springer. Two of the Houston Astros go back-to-back. And to top it all off, number 10, if you will follow me on Twitter and on Facebook and watching the game, I said who would be next. Well, Joey Votto, who can hit the long ball, did. And there you go. 10 home runs, 25 strikeouts by pitchers, and 10 home runs. That describes Major League Baseball. And that's been going on in the first half of the season. Now, if you're going to have an all-star game, make it into a game where you see baseball. You do not see a home run derby as you did the night before. And that's what we got. Now, a baseball fan today will say, well, Rich, what's wrong with that? I want to see the home run ball. You don't want to see strikeouts, but that's become a part of the game today. But they do want to see the home run ball, and granted, I agree with you. A home run is a part of the game. It's always been. When they're not taking steroids, as they did, home runs were flying always out of the ballpark. And then you know what happened from there on. It calmed down a little bit. You're going to see home runs. But in an all-star game, which has now become entertainment, as Major League Baseball is big business and entertainment, MLB loves that because you loved it. You want to see home runs fly out of the ballpark. But as a baseball purist as I am, and many others around my generation, we want to see baseball. Whether it's a game that means something, or a game like the Midsummer Classic, as it is called, the All-Star Game, you want to see baseball. You want to see some pitching, and you want to see defense, and you want to see the hit and run, and you want to see some sacrifices. And we did have one sacrifice fly. They accounted for one of the runs, thank goodness. But you don't want to see 10 home runs. That is not baseball. Hell, if I wanted to see a home run derby, then I watch Monday night's home run derby. I want to see, as the baseball all-star game is supposed to be, the best from both leagues on the field. I want to see baseball played like baseball. I don't want to see one home run after another that will determine a game that is meaningless. And yet next year, when the All-Star Game, and it will be its 90th year, I think it's the 90th year, something like that, goes to Cleveland. And the year after, when it returns back to Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium, what do you think you're going to see? You think Major League Baseball and Commissioner Bob Manfred care and will say, and they have no control of it, let's say, they're not hitting the ball, they're not pitching, but do you think they're going to say and come out and say, this is no good for the game? Of course they're not going to say that. Because it means revenue. It means money. It means selling more jerseys. It means selling more merchandise. It means selling this, selling that. That's why they have the home run derby on Monday night before. But it's not baseball. I don't want to see home run after home run going out of a ballpark in a game that is meaningless, when you're supposed to see the premier players from both leagues playing the game they call baseball. So to me, the All-Star Game was a complete joke. Over 3.5 hours of entertainment. And if you stood in and you stayed and watched that, whether you were in the ballpark, and believe me, a lot of those fans down there, I saw it, were walking around Nationals Park at the merchandise stands and at the concession stands more they were in their seats, and just waiting for Harper to come up and hit a home run, and just waiting for someone from their team, including Matt Scherzer pitched a great first inning. All right, just waiting for their hometown hero to do something. And there were fans from all over baseball, from every team. But you think those fans wanted to see home run after home run? The game has changed, and it only means one thing: revenue in their pocket. And that's where baseball's going wrong. It's big business, and it's not for the fan. It's not for me. As much as I love the game, as much as I cover this game for 6 months, it's not for me no more. And the All-Star game is meaningless. I want to see what the ratings were like. Preliminary estimates show they weren't too great on the Fox network. And yes, Major League Baseball does some great things in the community, including here, Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. And they do some great things for the kids in neighborhoods, in the city neighborhoods. And they do promote the U.S. military and the veterans, and they do a great job of that. Some of it may be overkill, but when it comes to the game itself, it's in trouble. There are a lot of issues in baseball. It's in trouble. And the trouble is that the game has to go back the way it's supposed to be played and not depend on the home run ball. Well, that's it for the All-Star game. We'll talk more about it in the next hour or two, go over some things in that. Baseball does continue. The second half unofficially begins. And, it's going to come down to the wire, of course, with the Yankees and Red Sox in a great battle for the division there in the American League East. And when you look at the Yankees, of course, they are still the top team in baseball, along with the Red Sox and Astros in the American League. And then you're going to watch the Cleveland Indians and make a move, and the Dodgers. And the reason I say the Dodgers now, as you all know, we're nearing that July 31 non-trade deadline. A lot of rumors, a lot of talk, and a lot of those rumors are strictly rumors, but no more a rumor for Manny Machado. As you know, he's headed to the Los Angeles Dodgers for 5 prospects. This makes the Dodgers that much better and a favorite to win the division in a highly competitive National League West, maybe the most competitive division in baseball next to the Yankees, Red Sox in the AL East. Now, Manny Machado, one of the top players in the game, is a borrowed player. Now with the LA Dodgers. Out of Baltimore, now in Los Angeles, a big market. Dodgers now will be favored to win the division, maybe go to the World Series. They need another pitcher, though, starter, to get them over that hump to get there once again. The thing is that the Dodgers had to give up a prospect, an outfielder from Cuba, Yesenia Diaz, number 4 prospect in the organization out of Cuba. He had 2 home runs in the Futures game the day before, which, by the way, if you didn't watch that game, well, then you were missing out, because those are the stars of tomorrow, Major League Baseball. And this kid can hit. This kid's a dynamite player. He can run. He can hit and get the. And you know what? He hits the home run ball. So Major League Baseball is gonna love him. So the Dodgers had to pay. They had to give up the 5 prospects to the Orioles, who are in the rebuilding process. And Manny Machado basically now is a borrowed player. He's in his walk-off year of a contract. The Dodgers will do everything they can with Magic Johnson and his group to re-sign this young man, a talented young man, a good face for baseball, but does he remain a Dodger? Another trade that went off, the Indians shoring up their bullpen. They need help with Corey Allen, and they need some help in that bullpen, and they got him. They got a guy, this Brad Hand from the Padres, who can throw hard, come out of the pen. You couldn't tell with the San Diego Padres what he was doing, because the Padres are still rebuilding and struggling a bit. But now Brad Hand will show his talents as he heads himself to the Cleveland Indians, who will make a run in that division. Rumored, Zach Britton could be out of Baltimore as they rebuild. Maybe that's a guy the Yankees will get it for their pen, though I don't think they need that. They still have, to me, the best bullpen in baseball. But Zach Britton, the Yankees are looking for starting pitching. Still hearing the names of Corey Oswalt. Corey, of course, is not the same pitcher, though he does have a contract that's pretty deep. I don't know if the Yankees want to take that on, but they're more and more you're hearing that name, and Jay Happ's name still being coming up, and Matt Harvey, who's had his terrific last 5 starts with the Cincinnati Reds. That's a guy that you'll see peddled out of Cincinnati, traded somewhere else, And who knows? He could end up in New York again, though I think that would be a bad fit. So you can hear a lot of names back and forth now as that trading deadline, non-waiver trade deadline, nears in the next 2 weeks. And just log on to Facebook on the page, log on to my Twitter account at Ring786, and I'll try and update you with the latest. And for you Mets fans, Asdrubal Cabrera, Jurice Familiar in New York, out, walk-off contracts. I know for sure, I've heard they're going to be gone. But the thing is, the Mets going to trade away these veteran players and walk off years of contract. What prospects do they get back? They may not do nothing. And that's because they really don't have a general manager in place. I hear that the Mets are going to be looking for a full-time GM to sit in that seat, and it's not going to be Omar Minaya, it's not going to be Rico, and it's not going to be any others that are running that organization right now. It's going to go on the outside and try and find someone that knows the game and rebuild that organization and get them back on the winning track. As far as what's going on in the game itself, well, it's been a good first half, as you know. And then again, down to the wire, you're going to see again the Yankees, Red Sox, I do believe, in the division, fighting it out. The Cleveland Indians, again, right now, with Hand in the bullpen, they have some reinforcement they need. I think they will win the division again in the AL Central. The West in the American League, Houston Astros, Seattle Mariners, and it comes down to pitching where I think the Astros have over everyone. Whoever they throw out there towards the stretch run couldn't give them that division and take them far in the postseason in October. I talked to George Springer about that, who hit one of those home runs in the All-Star game. He's very high about that team. In fact, a lot of the Astros are. They feel they have it to go all the way again this year. And when was the last time we saw a team repeat as world champions in baseball? So look out for the Astros. I think they'll have a great stretch run, win the division again. In the National League East, surprisingly, but young and athletic, Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves, they're going to battle it out to the end. Don't rule out those Washington Nationals. If they can get their pitching back to where it belongs, and they make a few moves during the trade deadline, which I think they will. I haven't heard what names, but they are looking. Then the Nationals will be players in that division. The Cubs and the Brewers will battle it out in the National League West. The Cubs have the pitching. The Brewers need some bullpen help. They're working at that. Again, we'll see what happens in the deadline. Again, in the West, Arizona, the Dodgers, the Rockies, and the Giants are separated at the break. 3.5 games separate them from the top. So it could go either way. But right now, that acquisition of Manny Machado to the Dodgers gives them the upper hand. Don't rule out the Rockies. They are a hitting team, and they were coming on strong towards the end of the first half, scoring a lot of runs. In fact, second in the league in runs scored, and that'll give you an indication. So more baseball to talk. We will either have Wally Mathews or Howie Carpenon, our baseball experts, in a little while on the phone lines and talk more baseball with them and get your opinion, of course, in on it. Leave us a message. Don't forget, Sports with Rich, all bases covered here on our Facebook Live page. All right, baseball, we'll continue that in a moment, as I said. And now we look at soccer. We'll go into that right away. And soccer, a game that I've come to love, as you know now. The World Cup over, France over Croatia. Congratulations. We don't hear about World Cup things now, and for another 4 years, or when we get in the Olympics, we'll hear more about some of the great international stars who were part of that great World Cup the last 2 weeks that dominated the world of soccer. In the New York City area, continue talk about NYCFC at Yankee Stadium. Again, they're at first in the East, along with Atlanta right now at the top spot. The Red Bulls are third. And this young man, Jonathan Lewis, continues to become a bright star in the MLS and with NYCFC, along with Jesus Medina. This team attacks the ball, plays good defense, and they can score. And they score late. That's why they're dangerous. So look for NYCFC to make a run for that MLS Cup come late October. And there is talk, finally, that soon will be announced that NYCFC will have their own stadium minutes away from Yankee Stadium. And that's good because the Yankees, who have an ownership stake with this team, are looking to get this team their own facility, their own venue, so that NYCFC in the playoffs doesn't get knocked out of Yankee Stadium, because the Yankees have a sacred field. They don't want the grass botched up and all of that, which is true. I mean, you don't want that stadium to get botched up with the grass. They resod it all the time. It's unbelievable what I see. Every time I'm at the ballpark, at the end of a soccer game, I'm in the press box filing my story, and then I see the grounds crew, the Yankees grounds crew, one of the greatest in the game, and how they make the transition from a baseball field to a soccer field and a soccer field back to baseball. It's unbelievable. It's a lot of work. It takes 2-3 days. It's not that easy to do, but they do it. So they get my kudo of the week, as always, the grounds crew at Yankee Stadium. Let's look at some boxing right now. Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has a title fight to unify or the heavyweight titles a bit. Of course, Deontay Wilder's the WBC champ. He's not going to get a shot at that until next year. But before that, Joshua does get Alexander Povetkin, and Deontay Wilder waits in the forefront. He waits. He waits online for his big title unification bout. In the meantime, Anthony Joshua and Big Baby Miller, Baby Miller as he's called, from Brooklyn, New York, they went back and forth. They had a little face-to-face. Miller slapped almost Joshua in the face by insulting his mother, which was totally uncalled for, but it's part of the heavyweight division hype in boxing. We still want to see the unification that will come. Eddie Hearn has said that Joshua and Wilder will fight. He's the promoter of Joshua out of England, and that they will get it going sometime early next year. So the heavyweight division, the face of boxing, is heating up some more and more. How about Manny Pacquiao, my friends? Did you see that fight on the ESPN app, which I don't have, which I won't get, because I don't feel you have to get an app to watch boxing. I don't think that's fair. Pacquiao and Lucas Matese, and Pacquiao did the job in the 7th round, as I said. I'm going back and forth with people, and I'm going back and forth with fans and saying, watch Pacquiao win this fight within 8 rounds. He won it in 7. His left looked great. His right looked great. His footwork was great. And Pacquiao looks like he hasn't lost an edge. He looks better than ever. So he's not going nowhere. He's staying in there. And Manny Pacquiao, we'll see who he fights next. Though, what he has in the 147-pound division is he is a champion again. But who does he fight next? Does he get Danny Garcia? Probably not. Does he get maybe someone like, I don't know, there's so many welterweights out there. Earl Spence, that's not happening. Terrence Crawford, Pacquiao, not happening, and you know why? Same promoter, Top Rank. PBC has the other champions. Okay, Keith Thurman. I don't think that's happening either. So Pacquiao might have to step up and go down in weight again if he wants to fight again, or has to give in. His promoters at Top Rank have to give him a fight. He's staying where he is. He's staying as a champion at 147 right now, which is the most competitive, best division in boxing. But great fight by Manny Pacquiao. He hasn't lost a step, and I think you'll agree with me on that. WWE, we got to talk wrestling. The Undertaker, I think, he'll be in the house later. He's always here with us. We feel him all the time. And Brock Lesnar is going to definitely fight in the UFC Heavyweight Championship. But he's also got Lesnar is going to be defending the title at SummerSlam in a few weeks in New York and Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. That's unfolding on Monday Night Raw if you see it. It's a farce. It's a fiasco. WWE has gone downhill just as much as baseball to me has gone downhill. Product stinks. That's my opinion. I don't know what you think about it. And there's a lot, of course, going on with the NBA and the NFL, and that's where my buddy Brandon Colon comes in. Hey, Brandon.
How you doing?
Good to see you again.
Yeah, always good to be here.
This was a slow week in sports. It always is. The All-Star break week and the baseball resumes. What did you do?
Well, luckily for me, I was out in Florida, so spending some family time, some vacation.
Yeah, good. Well, I need that too.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you do.
Yeah,
I think you do.
Yeah, I really do. But Brandon, before you when we go to break, and you'll come back and you'll give us a nice in-depth detail as you always do. In the NBA, there was a big trade. Everyone knows that.
Yep.
But another Yankee hat.
Not only the hat, but the shirt.
What are you doing to me every week, my friend? Come on, that's not fair. It's not fair.
I see you got.
This is what I got. The Met Rally cap.
You're gonna need
Yeah.
a rally.
We need a rally, I know, but I can say that again, not you.
Okay, sorry.
All right? All right, so, but you're wearing a shirt and a hat. No gum in the mouth again, that's good. But you're wearing a Yankee hat again. Why? Why do you do this to me? Why?
It's become tradition now.
Right,
It's
yeah.
become tradition.
All right, Brandon, in a moment, we're going to give, we're going to have that great report from you.
Yes.
And in the locker room again, Big John, there he is. Hey, John.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Rich.
Yeah, how are you? But now this week, you got to wear a Yankee hat.
Oh, the showdown starts tomorrow, the Subway Series.
Well, when people are watching this, it'll may be over or in progress already. But you got to wear that hat again,
Oh, yeah, tomorrow.
right?
Today,
Yeah.
I got to wear it. And
All
I
right,
see
John.
you wearing the
Yeah,
Mets hat.
yeah, it was the rally cap. So how was your week, John?
It's good.
Like?
Well, I watched the All-Star game. I heard in the locker room you really
Not already.
didn't like it. I'm sorry you didn't.
All right. But, John, a little later, you're going to go back again. I think we're going to work on some bunting today.
Yeah.
Bunts.
Can I say one thing, Rich?
Real quick.
Real quick. The relief pitching was kind of terrible. After
Yeah.
Scherzer and Sale, that's what happened, and it turned into a home run bear.
Well, it's a meaningless game.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Who wants to see home runs? I don't want to see home runs.
No, I know, that's
I
what
want to
it
see
is.
baseball.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
but-
All right. All right. You ready for this? Fact of the week. And let's see if we get it. And anyone out there who gets it, let me show this to you. This was don't cheat, Brandon. I see you trying to cheat already, you Yankee. This was a memento coming out of the All-Star game, and it is not a replica, but not many of them are made. It's a pin. If you're a pin collector, you like this. Got the U.S. Capitol. Can you see that? Yang behind the camera, always doing a great job, my friend. You see that? And by the way, he's not wearing a Yankee cap, which is good. That's the U.S. Capitol building, Washington, D.C., Major League Baseball All-Star Game. You see that? I will get this to you if anyone out there can give me a fact of the week or something better that you're watching. All Bases Covered Sports with Rich, sponsored by Ace for Mini Market, and of course, Razor Sharp. Go see Rob each and every week here, live in the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. Fact of the week. Here we go. Baseball, of course. Jump in if you know. A baseball bat travels how many miles per hour at the peak of a swing? How many miles per hour does a baseball bat travel at the peak of a swing? Can anyone get that? Anyone now? John, we can hear you. You're in the locker room. Got it? Time's up.
120
No, you're way off. How about you, Brandon?
15 miles per hour.
No, God, you're way off. If you know it, let us know. You probably will know already because we're on tape, and I'm going to give you the answer anyway. But when we come back, Brandon Colon, NBA, NFL, a lot going on. Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're hungry, morning, day, or night? This is the place to go. Ace Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ace Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
Do you have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we're doing with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ace Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great price. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it razor sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder?
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's sports talk. 914-505-7701.
Welcome back to All Bases Covered Sports with Rich. I'm Rich Mancuso. And don't forget, we're sponsored by Ace for Mini Market in the Bronx and Razor Sharp. Go to Rob and get all your razor needs. The trim, the cut, whatever. Rob at Razor Sharp. And All Bases Covered Sports with Rich on Facebook page. Log in, like us, leave a comment. We'll get back to you. We're going to go live again. As I said, September, we'll give you the launch date for live programming here for the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx studio. And we'll interact with you, and we thank you for your continued support. Now, good quick first segment back with Brandon Colon. Brandon, despite the Yankee shirt and hat, I got to look at you with that on all the time. I just can't. You and Big John today are just driving me crazy with the Yankee apparel. But anyway, more importantly, Brandon has a great NBA NFL report. NBA, we start off with a lot of trades, a lot of big moves, big names, and the NFL training camps have started. Can't believe the NFL season is like kickoff 55 days away.
49 days
49, real. By the time we're watching this, maybe less.
Maybe less.
Brandon, go ahead. It's all yours, and give us the updates. A lot of news in the NBA first.
Definitely. So obviously your NBA free agency and trade updates brought to you by Razor Sharp. Don't forget to visit Rob over there at Razor Sharp. You're not sharp until you're Razor Sharp. Let's kick it off, obviously, on Wednesday morning, very early. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski noted that the San Antonio Spurs will be trading Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green to the Toronto Raptors for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a future first-round pick. A deal between the Spurs and Lakers, obviously that was the Lakers with the team that Kawhi really wanted to go to. It could not happen. The Spurs were asking for just a little bit too much, and the Raptors seemed to be the only team that was willing to go out there and take that risk of bringing in Kawhi for 1 year, because he may leave. He may not stay for more than 1 year. He may not re-sign with them. He may leave after this 1 year deal that he's got left with the Spurs and obviously now with the Raptors. So they took that risk. They were the only team willing to take that risk, and so they did it. It was something obviously many Raptors fans and even like former players and current players were very upset about. As many of you may know, DeMar DeRozan was drafted by the Toronto Raptors in the 2009 draft with the 9th pick, and he spent his whole career there up to this point. Even when it was time for his free agency, he didn't try and go to any other teams. He was strictly about Toronto, and he loved it there. And then it was reported by ESPN's Chris Haynes, somebody from DeMar DeRozan's camp, told Chris Haynes that he spoke with the Raptors, DeMar, and they assured him that he would not be traded. And so obviously this came down on Wednesday morning, and he was very upset about what happened. And he was very distraught. He went on Instagram and made some posts, and it was a lot of dismay amongst the NBA world, with people saying they can't believe they did that. DeMar deserves a statue out there in Toronto. He's one of the guys to bring them to such prominence in the last few years. So it's definitely something that hurt a lot of people in the NBA community. As far as Kawhi goes, who knows what's going to happen? There was talks that he may not even show up to the Raptors in Toronto. Obviously, not where he wanted to go. It's not even just a different team. It's a whole other country out in Canada. So who knows what's going to happen with him. There are all talks that things may be getting a little bit better. He will show up to camp. But will he sign for another year? Will they be able to play so well this year and maybe compete for a championship that they can get him to sign for future deals with Toronto? Or is he so focused on LA, is he just going to jump ship? Obviously, something that just came down from Adrian Wojnarowski this Thursday was the Oklahoma City Thunder trading Carmelo Anthony to the Atlanta Hawks. Carmelo Anthony and a 2022 draft pick to the Atlanta Hawks for Dennis Schroeder, their point guard, Mike Muscala, and some cash considerations. Obviously, Carmelo will be waived by Atlanta as he will go on to look for another team. The Rockets being the front runner. Obviously, it's been news that we reported last week that Carmelo is obviously looking into the Lakers as well to go play with his best friend LeBron. But the Rockets look like one of the teams that's really out there trying hard to get him. And Atlanta is going to waive Carmelo. And OKC may keep Dennis Schroeder if he's willing to come off the bench and play behind Russell Westbrook. It's being reported that they will probably try and trade Mike Muscala or waive him as well and just keep Schroeder. So that's some other big news in the NBA that just came down. Some other news today, the Boston Celtics re-signed Marcus Smart to a 4-year, $52 million deal. So Marcus Smart will be coming back to Boston, the team who drafted him so many years ago. And he's played well in the last few years, definitely on the defensive side, and he was definitely a main key as why they reached the Eastern Conference Finals. And maybe he'll be a key to why they can make it to the finals next year. Also, Dirk Nowitzki, he's signing with a new team. Just kidding, folks, not happening. We won't see Dirk in any other jersey but Dallas. He re-signed on a 1-year deal, $5 million to stay in Dallas. Well, maybe this will be his last year. He played well last year. He averaged about 15 or so points. So he's still got that good that step back going and the leg kick and everything. So he will be in Dallas for a long time to come. And that's your NBA news for today. Not much going on besides the big Carmelo Anthony trade. Let's move on to the NFL, which is brought to you by Atrium Mini Market and Deli. Make sure you go check them out and get you some good food. Very delicious. So we have an update from last week's news on LaShawn McCoy. As we reported, he was allegedly accused of beating his ex-girlfriend last week, as we reported that. Some news has surfaced recently that the bruises she suffered in the picture that was posted online were actually from a home invasion where burglars allegedly assaulted her, and also stolen some items that belonged actually to McCoy. It's his house. She was staying there. She initially believed that McCoy had something to do with the invasion. It's being reported that he actually had nothing to do with it. So they're still trying to figure out all the other allegations that were made against him to try and clear his name. Also, there's still no word whether an investigation, if he's in the clear. There's still something to teams, and obviously for you fantasy football players out there wondering if he'll be ready to go, or if he'll face suspension, we're still waiting on news as far as that goes. In other news, the Atlanta Falcons have informed star wide receiver Julio Jones, who was recently ranked the number 2 wide receiver in top 100. They will not be offering him an extension this offseason. Maybe they can offer him some incentives to try and boost the money up in his current contract. But as far as an extension goes for this upcoming season, he will not be offered that. He does still have 2 more years left on his current contract. But obviously he's seeing some of the big deals like Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, and some of the other wide receivers out there that they're getting very big deals, and he's still stuck on a contract from about 2 or 3 years ago. The contract he's under now makes him the 7th highest paid wide receiver, while guys he's seen as much better than are a top 5 wide receivers as far as pay goes. So Jones, we'll see. Obviously training camp starting next week for the Atlanta Falcons next Friday. We'll see if Julio Jones decides to show up, or will he be a holdout and still try and hold out for that money. Le'Veon Bell, he's deciding to hold out of training camp for the Steelers when that comes next week, as he's decided that they couldn't get a contract done. He's looking for more money. He wants to be one of the top running backs to be paid in NFL history. They couldn't come to an agreement, and so now he decided to hold out of training camp with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of the Steelers, Antonio Brown was ranked the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL top 100. And he is now the cover athlete for Madden 2019. Don't worry, folks. I believe the Madden curse is behind us. As Tom Brady proved last year, he played very well, brought his team to the Super Bowl. He had a great Super Bowl, even though they lost. So I think we can get over this whole Madden curse, and I think Antonio Brown will have another great year and continue to progress as the great wide receiver that he is. And finally, the Baltimore Ravens started training camp July 18th, and they've been in there for about 2 days. Joe Flacco's trying to fight off Lamar Jackson, who's coming for that top quarterback, that number 1 quarterback spot. And most teams will begin training camp on July 22nd through the 26th. You'll see all teams in the NFL ready to go and get started. And that's all for your NFL report, brought to you by Atrium Mini Market and Deli. And let's bring Rich back in here and discuss some more NFL and NBA news.
Brandon, first of all, great job again.
Thank you very much, sir.
A lot of news going on in the NBA in particular. The Lakers just seem to be getting better and better.
Definitely, they definitely do. They obviously they were trying to get Kawhi Leonard, but the Spurs were asking for too much. But they got the young guys there already.
Yeah.
They brought in Lance Stevenson, LeBron James, Rajon Rondo, all these guys. So they're just going to keep getting better and better, and hopefully next season even.
Let me talk Phoenix.
Yes.
Both NBA, of course.
We have to.
And NFL.
We have to.
All right. Of course. Yeah, but notice I didn't say my or we.
Yes, you're right.
All right. The Suns. They had a great draft.
They definitely did.
Yeah, will they be players this coming year in the league, or are they going to be on the bottom again?
So they brought in a new coach. I don't see them definitely being at the bottom. They brought in, obviously, said a great draft with DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges from Villanova, Another gentleman, Zaire.
How long will it take? And you're on this more than me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring in as we get closer to those camps and seasons and all that. I'm going to ask the experts, and they can come on here with us too, and you could have a great
I would
time
love that.
talking to them. Hope you get a job because I don't pay you enough. But how long will it take those rookies to have an impact in Phoenix?
So I think we saw it in the summer league. DeAndre Ayton played very well in his last few games. He's definitely a good defender. He's a rim protector, and he can score off the offensive rebound. And Mikal Bridges was a 3-year person at Villanova, 3-year player. He's obviously very experienced already, so it's not going to take him long to get acclimated. I can say 2-3 years, they'll definitely be players in the
sooner.
Unfortunately, with the new coach, things get turned. You take time to acclimate.
Out there. I want to see some
2-3 years when you go out there, maybe they'll be in the ready to go to the playoffs.
And as far as the Cardinals,
I do have news on the Cardinals. Their general manager Steve Keim was suspended by the Cardinals for 5 weeks and also fined $200,000, as well as facing some other legal issues.
And Chase Edmonds, I talked to him a few days ago.
Yeah. How's he doing?
He's fine. He's ready. He's going to be the backup.
Yes, to David Johnson. Will be the backup to David Johnson, and I think they'll do very well out there.
Larry Fitzgerald has said that he wants to go nowhere else.
No.
He's
Why would
staying
he?
put in Arizona as a Cardinal. That's great news.
As he should.
Yeah.
As he should.
Yeah. Any other things before we let you
No, that's all we got for
Great.
NFL and
Well,
NBA.
Brandon, great job again with the NBA and
Thank you very
NFL
much.
report. Big John, I know he's in the locker room. There he is.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. You hung in there, heard that report. And John, who do you root for in the NBA and the NFL?
Unfortunately, I root for the Knicks, but I'm going to hang in there.
Yeah, but they're rebuilding.
Yeah, I think 2019 they might end
Right.
up with like Jimmy Butler or Kyrie Irving,
Right.
or maybe both of them in 2019.
And I guess you're getting ready for the NFL because I know you have Mets Yankees the last few days driving you crazy, and you're wearing that Yankee hat again, as I said. In a little while, you're going to go out and do some bunting, which we don't see in baseball no more. You're going to show us what a bunt looks like in baseball again, right?
Yeah, it's the first time ever doing this
Okay.
live, and never
Good.
really bunted before.
Good.
But I think I could do it.
And John, any sighting of the Undertaker anywhere in the house? Uh-oh.
I saw
Oh
him. in the
man,
locker room.
I get nervous.
Oh, yeah.
I get nervous.
You know, until then, Brandon, this is what we got. But we know the Undertaker's around, and he's going to be at SummerSlam at the Barclays Center. In
Definitely.
He's back. I know he's been wrestling in the arenas again. Look out for the Undertaker, right, John?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anybody get the fact of the week? Did anybody? Because not, I'm going
No.
to give the answer.
I think you
the
should
question
give the
again. The baseball. A bat travels how many miles an hour at the peak of a swing? Can you give the answer?
Oh wait, Yang may have an answer.
Yang, you got it? Behind the camera?
I'm going to say 80 miles an hour.
Yeah. How did you get that? You cheated.
I would never. Don't ever.
Now, Yang, you know what, Yang? You looked at something while we were on break.
I would no.
Not at all.
No one gets that answer.
Not at all.
No.
80 miles an hour.
All right.
He's got
You
it.
want this
Don't
pin?
ever accuse Yang of
No,
cheating.
I can't give you this pin. This is going to go to a fan.
It's gotta
not
go to
you.
a fan.
All right, Yang. Well, congratulations. That's a tough one. You got it. And the Fact of the Week sponsored by Ashra Mini Market in the Bronx. And we'll say it again. Go see Louie there and Ray. They make the best delicious sandwiches that we get here every week. Sports with Rich. All bases covered for the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. It's Brandon Colon. It's me, Rich Mancuso. It's Big John in the locker room. Yang behind the camera. Back in a moment. Wally Mathews, a well-known national baseball writer, boxing writer, and a colleague of mine for years on the phone lines. We'll talk to him. Back in a moment, folks. Stay with us. You're hungry, morning, day, or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there, too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. You know, I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
Do you have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we do them with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with Boar's Head Oven Gold Turkey.
Base for Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Nah, maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's there's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder?
You are listening to the All Bases Covered Radio Show. Sports Talk with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
Sports with Rich, all bases covered. Back with you, YouTube Live, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got on the internet these days. I'm Rich Mancuso. Welcome back. Brandon Colon, Big John in the locker room, and on the phone lines now, a colleague of mine, almost 40 years, well known nationally, locally in the New York area, because we're national. Wally Mathews, my friend. Hey, Wally, thanks for coming on, my friend.
My pleasure. 40 years, my God, Rich, you're making me feel old.
Yeah, well,
Sit down.
I'll join the club. We've known each other that long, worked
We sure have.
side by side. We continue to do that. Of course, you're on the baseball beat, the boxing beat, as well as I am. Hey, Wally, let's talk second half baseball. First of all, I knocked the All-Star game apart earlier. I don't want to see a home run derby in the All-Star game. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, look, I don't want to sound like a spoiled sport, but first of all, I didn't even watch the All-Star game. I didn't know who won it until yesterday morning because I don't care. It's an exhibition game.
It is, eh?
The home run derby, Rich, you and I watch batting practice every single day that we cover a baseball game.
Right.
That's all the home run derby is. I don't need to sit in front of my TV and watch batting practice. I watch it before every Yankee or Met game that I cover.
Right.
It's just a guy soft tossing to a professional hitter. If you can't hit that ball out of the park, you shouldn't be doing this for a living. Do something else.
Exactly, and it's all basically what you said. As I said, it's an exhibition, meaningless game, and I want to see a baseball game. I don't want to see a home run derby.
Yeah, I think it's really silly. I mean, remember the old show Home Run Derby where they would match up like, Willie Mays against
Yeah.
Mantle or something, and some guy, some broken down old coach would be lobbing it into
Yeah.
them, and they'd hit a home run. Now just let every pitch, every once in a while, they pop one up. It's the same damn thing. Where's the excitement in that? I know these guys can hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
Every one of them can hit it out of the park. Every swing, if they get the right pitch. Brett Gardner can hit 5 home runs in 5 batting practice pitches. I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
Big deal.
So why don't we call the game next year the Home Run Derby All-Stars? That's what we'll do, right?
I think I'm going to do the same thing next year that I did this year. Something else.
Wally Mathews, my guest here, all bases covered sports with Rich. Wally, let's go into the second half now of the baseball season. You're on the Yankee bit quite often with me. And is this team for real? And what are they going to do as far as a pitcher before that trade deadline of July 31st?
First of all, yeah, I think they're definitely for real, but if you're a Yankee fan, you got to be a little bit discouraged in the fact that they've played so damn well over the first, 95, 96 games, and they're still 4.5 games behind the Red Sox, who never seem to lose. I mean, it's going to be tough to make up those 4.5 games in the second half. I mean, Don't forget, you only got, 70 games to go now. And, if either of them, obviously they have to hope that the Red Sox hit a wall or some, catastrophe befalls them, or somebody, J.D. Martinez goes out for the season or something. But, I mean, it's kind of tough to make up that many games unless one of the teams has a real, a tailspin. And, so far the Red Sox haven't had that.
Hey, you expect this to come down to the wire, though, the end of September.
Maybe, but if it's, if it stays the the way it is, the final weekend in Fenway Park will be meaningless.
Yeah, that's right.
How's it going,
So,
Wally?
I mean, yeah, they got to chip away at this, and you know, they really can't afford. The thing about the Yankees is they can't afford a cold spell now because, you know, you fall much further back than that in August. It's going to be very, very tough to make up those games on a team as good as Boston.
Good point.
What's going on, Wally? Brandon here. So, as you mentioned, it's gonna be a tough time for the Yankees to make up those 4.5 games coming down to the stretch. If they do end up with that wild card spot, who do you think in the AL can test them in a wild card game to kind of scare us Yankee fans?
It's very. Hey, man, I tell you what it's going to come down to is not so much who they're playing, but who's ready to pitch for them in that final game. I mean, you don't know. I mean, here's the thing. If they're still within striking distance in that final week and they have to use Severino, Tanaka, and whoever, you know, the stud ace that they're going to pick up, and I don't know who it's going to be. Don't ask me. I don't know if it's going to be Hamels, Happ. I hope it's going to be DeGrom. You know, my coworker at the Times, Billy Witz, wrote, you know, the Yankees should demand DeGrom and Syndergaard. Stayed for Aaron Judge the other day, you know, gave me a pretty good laugh.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, if you burn those guys trying to win the division and don't make it, then just look at what the possibility is here. Maybe the Yankees win 102, 103 games, and it all comes down to a single game, and you're starting, you know, Sonny Gray or Jonathan Loaiza, you know, somebody like that, Domingo Hamad, you know, with your entire season on the line.
And I'll tell you another thing.
I think that's scarier than who the opponent might be.
You know what's scary too? If in the event they have to if they get the wild card, Wally, and they got Gary Sanchez behind the plate. Granted, I love his bat and lineup, but you know, wild pitch. Gary Sanchez can't control that.
Yeah, that's a continuing problem. I assume we're going to see him back very soon, you know, from his injury, but that's been a continuing problem.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of Gary apologists out there, and, you know, they say that we make too much of, you know, we in the media make too much of, but you got the minimum that you demand of your catcher that he catch the damn baseball. You know, I mean, that's and when you have certain pitchers like Tanaka and even Sonny Gray won't throw to him, basically, who depend on burying their splitters and their sliders in the dirt. You can't have a guy back there who you can't trust to catch it.
Right.
Especially if there's a runner at third base, you know. Now suddenly you've taken a pitch out of your arsenal and you can't throw anymore because this guy might let it go by and you get a run score.
Exactly. That's always got to be a concern if you're a Yankee fan.
But he does have a great bat, and I do think he's a DH in waiting. I think that's his future. He's got a great arm too.
Yeah. How about the rest of the American League? We know it's the Yankees, Red Sox, the Astros. To me, besides, are a team to beat. Defending champs, but they got the pitching. Don't you agree?
They got the pitching. Cleveland's got the bats. They got the bullpen. I mean, there's a lot of good teams. It's not just the Yankees. But the Yankees are playing great baseball. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I did happen to notice today, you know, you probably get them too. I get emails from these online betting sites.
Yeah.
And the Yankees' odds to win the World Series actually became longer.
I saw that.
Half.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sure exactly what that's based on. I thought with Manny Machado out of the division, that, you know, it's one less thing they have to worry about when Baltimore comes to town next week.
Well, how close?
The same token, I was going to tell you, the Dodgers' odds to get the World Series dropped since they got it.
Really? Yeah, I saw that.
Significantly.
Yet they could be looked at as a favorite with him there now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the odds have gotten shorter now. Yes.
What do you mean? How close? How close were the Yankees to getting Manny Machado, or was that more talk?
They were really close. I think that was Cashman just doing his due diligence. You know, trying to find out what it would cost them to get the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, look, you know, if you're going to go for a Manny Machado, then it frees you up to trade Miguel Andujar because Machado has said, I'm a third baseman now. I don't want to go back to shortstop.
Right.
So now you have an expendable guy who's, you know, shown himself to be a terrific bat. And I don't care what the defensive metrics say about the way he plays in the field. I think he's made just about all the plays he needs to make. That's right.
Wally,
the Yankees have been surprised by how good he's been at third base.
Wally, I keep talking about this game and how it's in trouble. Too much reliance on the home run, too many strikeouts, the shift, the DH in one league, not in the other. You know, all the instant replay time, you know, all of that. Is this game in trouble as much as I think it is?
I don't really think so. I think, listen, there are things about the game I don't like, and I agree with you on a lot of those things, especially the replay challenge. I think that was a terrible idea, and I hear the argument. You got to get it right. You can't. If we have the technology to get the calls right, let's get it right. But it does slow down the game, and I don't think managers should be able to challenge every little thing. And
Yeah.
Just really, and it takes, then you get the call for the electronic strike zone. I mean, let's keep some of the human element in the game, and part of the game, believe me, the pitchers don't want the electronic strike zone either, because that's going to force them to have to throw the ball
Right.
on the plate, and a lot of them don't want to do that. I think that sometimes you tinker with something a little bit too much. I don't know if you can really outlaw the shift. I mean, you can't tell people, you can't tell managers where to play guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if a guy wanted to play 5 outfielders, and 2 infielders, he can do it, I assume, right?
Well, we've seen crazy things in the past. We'll see it again.
I mean, the most disgusting, suggestion I've seen is this starting a runner at second base in extra innings.
Oh, I hope that never happens. That'll destroy the game completely. You won't see me watch baseball again if that happens.
To go back to the original question, I don't think the game's in trouble because obviously regional sports networks have been a windfall for the owners, and they can thank George Steinbrenner for that because he was the first one to take the plunge on the Yes Network, and they all realized, hey, you know what, we can do this too.
Right.
So, a lot of them have a lot more money than they had in the past. I mean, obviously ticket sales are not quite as important as they used to be, but if you look at the Yankees, they're up 10% this year.
No, they lead.
Their attendance is way up.
Oh.
Nobody's losing money with a baseball team.
No.
Manfred is talking about expanding, to 6 more cities. So, for all the woe is me talk, baseball's dying, nobody likes it, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's baloney because it seems to be doing pretty well financially, and the commissioner thinks there's room for more teams.
It's entertainment. They love the home run ball. That's what it is.
It could be.
And
you know what? I understand that part of it, too. I think we have lost a lot of, the nuances of the game, and I really don't like the idea of the DH and the National League. I kind of like National League baseball.
Yeah,
I like the fact that
I do
the
too.
manager has to make decisions a couple of times.
Speaking about National League baseball briefly, have you heard anything about the Mets and the general manager situation? Right now they got the 3 amigos in control.
No more than we knew a couple of weeks ago when Sandy originally made his announcement. I mean, at this point, look, I've said this to you privately, and I'll say it to you publicly. When you get 3 GMs, you don't have a GM, all right? You basically have an owner who's making the decisions, and you have 3 guys that, are going to bring suggestions to him, and Jeff Wilpon's going to make the final call. Unless he's willing, and he's not going to.
No,
unless he's
I know.
willing to hire a guy who is an independent guy who says, look, I'm running the baseball operation. You stay in your office where you're supposed to be. I'll come to you with the numbers. You tell me either yes or no, but don't get involved in my business. I don't see the Mets doing that.
No, they're a mess.
John Rico's a nice guy. You know him. I know him. He's very accommodating with us, but he's a company guy.
Well, we know.
Because he's going to do what Jeff Wilpon wants him to do.
Exactly. We know why they're a mess. Quickly, we're going to shift, Wally. We're running out of time, and I want to have you back on because you also have a podcast. If you want to plug that right now with us.
Absolutely. NY Baseball Podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on Google Play. It's on wherever you can get a podcast.
And you could.
Me and a partner, Dan Canovio.
Right.
We got some great guests.
It's a good one.
This Tuesday, because I don't have anybody yet, but I will have some.
Oh, I'd love to come on with you whenever you want me. I'm ready.
All right, man. You got an open invitation. We'll have you on.
You listen. We were gonna go. I can't let you go without talking briefly about some boxing as well. You know that.
Okay.
Me and you at ringside. What do you make of Manny Pacquiao? Did you like what you saw?
I liked it better than when I saw against Jeff Horn, but I mean, look, he's cruising for a bruising. We know that. He's going to get beat up bad, just like they all do when they stick around too long. I mean, they want to stick him in with Terrence Crawford or Lomachenko.
Yeah, well, I
So
can't see that with Crawford because that's a top-ranked fighter, the 2 of them. But I think he looked good. I mean, he looked good. But let's see. Lucas Matheus says no indication.
He's a pretty shot guy, but there was a time when he was a dangerous fighter.
Anyway, the heavyweight division, the face of boxing, Anthony Joshua, Big Baby Miller. Just insulted his mother. You know how it is. Boxing.
Listen, Big Baby Miller should get his ass into a gym, all right, and get himself in shape. Like that would be my suggestion to him, all right?
Yeah.
Make yourself look like a professional athlete before you start talking to people.
And your words, Wally, right now, and you boxing is your love and passion as well as mine. Pound for pound, who do you think right now top fighter in the world? Even though that's debatable.
That's tough. I mean, you got a couple you have a couple of real good candidates. Obviously, Lomachenko. Obviously, Terrence Crawford is one. Errol Spence, I think. I mean, out of the three of them, I think the one that I like to watch the most is Errol Spence.
That's the guy. He creates excitement. And while I wrap it up with a fighter, if Wilder and Joshua in the heavyweight division finally get it going, who do you like?
It's a great fight. I like the guy who can take the other guy's punch, and I'll tell you what, I saw something with Wilder against Luis Ortiz. I don't know if you were there.
Yeah.
I mean, he took a beating. I thought he was knocked out on his feet in the 7th round.
Yeah.
Came back to win. I think that's a tremendous positive for a fighter. Now, but however, on the other hand, Anthony Joshua was also knocked down by Klitschko to win, and that's also a positive.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't have any doubt that both of these guys are willing to hit the deck and get up and fight back. It all depends on which one can take the other guy's punch. I think Wilder is a tremendous puncher, but I don't know what's going to happen when that right hand hits Anthony Joshua's chin. Does he go down and stay down?
Yeah.
Or does he get up and fight back the way he did against Klitschko? I think it's a tremendous fight. And I wish I didn't have to wait another year to see it.
I know, as long as we don't have 3 blind mice at ringside, you know what I mean.
I don't think you're going to need the 3 blind mice unless you guys fight. Somebody's getting knocked out.
Yeah. Hey, Wally, my friends, always, to have you on the air with me is even better. But enjoy reading your content continually with the New York Times, Forbes.com, and wherever else you can be seen as well as me. It's a tough business. We know it, but you keep doing it and doing it well. That's why you're all...
Keep grinding, man.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the ballpark. Brandon, a pleasure talking to you, man.
You too, Wally.
I'll
You
be
too.
in touch. Thanks.
Okay, man.
Okay, bye-bye. Wally Mathews, well-known, of course, national writer.
Yes.
I've known this guy for 40 years. And we have taken a punch at ringside covering fights. And I can tell you story after story and how we first met. We didn't meet in the greatest terms 40 years ago.
Oh, man.
And Bert Sugar and I got together with him. And Bert, of course, the late Bert Sugar, a great friend in boxing who passed away a few years ago. But Wally is nationally known. Great writer. And boy, does he know his stuff.
Yeah, you can tell just from that interview right there.
And baseball boxing, that's how we got along. Right, Big John? Baseball boxing, that's me, isn't it? Yeah. All right, he's still in the locker room. You're going to get ready, get your cleats on in a moment. We're going to get to you. And when we come back, Anthony Melendez, hopefully in the studio for the Baseball Training Institute. And then we'll get John out there and do some bunting because, Brandon, baseball's not about bunting anymore. They don't do that no more.
You know who's a great bunter, Rich? Brett Gardner.
Yeah, but
for the Yankees.
But we don't see, he's also good, he's a guy, a ball player that gets very little credit, underrated.
Yes, I love Brett.
And I'm not a Yankee rooter. Everyone knows that. And by the way, when you were talking to Wally, you said us.
Yes, I did.
You should.
Proudly. Why?
Why? Because
why
it's not we, I, my, or us. That's why.
No.
And get this hat off.
No.
And next
okay,
week,
well, I got the shirt still. You can't take the shirt off.
Some guys, well, no, you don't want me to take my shirt off. You won't do it?
No.
I don't blame you. Here,
Can't.
take the pinstripes back.
Thank you very much.
Brandon, Big John, Yang behind the cameras, much more to come. Back after this, Sports with Rich, all bases covered for the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. And don't forget, log on, Facebook, and get the page, All Bases Covered Sports with Rich, sponsored by Ace Mini Market and Razor Sharp Rob in the Bronx. Back after this. You're hungry, morning, day, or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there, too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. You know, I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we're doing with London broil. Our turkey Phillies are also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ashra Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder?
You are listening to the All Bases Covered Radio Show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
Back with more Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, good, quick hour and a half or so. Thank you again, Wally Mathews. Great baseball talk, great boxing talk. And don't forget you can watch Wally and get his podcast and read him in the New York Times and also Forbes.com. And log on to the Facebook page, live. Sports with Rich, all bases covered. And, this isn't Aaron Judge next to me. However, a familiar face from the Baseball Training Institute when it was TM Baseball Training Academy, Nick Texador. He grew up in this place and now playing college ball for Monterey College.
Yes.
Where is that, Nick?
It's in North Carolina. It's near Asheville.
Yeah,
it's
so
in
you
Western
like
North
that part of the country?
Yeah, it's very different from Bronx. I can say that
Anything
for sure.
is different than the Bronx. But you've grown up, and every time I see you, when you come out, and you're one example, as I always say, guys who, young kids, as a kid, when did you start here?
8th grade. See,
man,
beginning of 8th grade.
You come back, and you always come back.
Yes.
And you've grown up to this point that I don't even recognize you no more.
A lot of people say that. They remember me when I was younger.
Now, how's the college ball going?
It's going good. It's a very huge learning experience. It's very good. It's much different from high school baseball because high school baseball, got more freedom, got more relaxation. But once you come into college baseball, you can tell like the business side of it starts coming out. So it's very competitive.
Well, tell us about the business side. That's interesting you mentioned that because college ball is becoming business.
Yeah, it's a business. One, you get a scholarship. I'm on a scholarship, so pretty much they're paying you to play baseball. So yeah, it's like you work for them in a way. And also there's a lot more competition, so you gotta keep trying to get better and get better and get better. And just like you could say, like in an office, like there's always people above you that you gotta get better and better and better, so you could try to take their spot. You just gotta shine.
You worked hard at it. You went to high school here in the Bronx at Cardinal
Spellman.
Yes. A good school. Your grades are, I wish I had your grades when I went to high school. They were like fantastic. They earned you that scholarship.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, how did you do in your freshman year?
Freshman year, I actually got hurt after 3 games pitching in my elbow. Like I said, it was a learning experience because I learned that I had to always play my game. It wasn't good for me to always try to incorporate other people's games because that's what ultimately got me hurt. However, I kept on like getting out the rehab and just keep coming at it, stretching, throwing, doing the right thing at the right time. And, I was able to work my way back.
And you're back to 100%?
I'm back to about like 90, I would say.
What were you throwing? What was your speed on the mound?
Speed, I was before I got hurt, I was around 85, 86, around there.
So will you go back to that velocity when you go back on the mound? Or does it take a while to rehab it back?
Well, the rehabbing is to get back there, but my goal is to get even better than that. 85, 86 would be something in the
Because
past.
to get to the major leagues today, they're looking for someone that could throw 95 and over.
Yeah.
They love that.
Yeah.
The scouts love that. When they see someone throwing over 95, right away they want to sign you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they like. You learned a lot when you were here.
Yes.
And what did you learn in particular? What was a major thing that you learned being a part of the Baseball Training Institute?
You got to stay humble. You have to stay humble because no matter how good you may think you are, there's always other people that may be better or working harder than you. So one thing that helped me stay humble is how hard of the work ethic it was here, working out in the group sessions. Many times when we come to hit and it's like, no, we're working out. And at the time it was like, you know, but I really, like, how do you say, grateful for it.
Yeah.
Tony
Melendez taught you a lot.
He taught me a lot.
You walked in here at 8 years old? Was it, or eighth grade?
Eighth grade, so I was
and
like 12,
your skills
15.
were there, but they weren't there, right? And you progressed. What in your game got better while you were here?
My confidence level, I would say my pitching in general, because I came here originally for independent lessons for pitching, and just confidence, hitting, all aspects of my game really improved.
And how are you as a hitter? Or is it basically pitching that you're doing now?
I was there my first year in college as a PO, which is a pitcher only, and now I plan on going back to hit and be a two-way.
'Cause I remember you were a pretty good hitter too.
Thank you.
And you could throw hard too.
Thank you.
I remember they were down in Orlando together, and I watched you, and I was trying to give you some pointers, and
Yes.
you came to me, Rich, thank you. So you know, obviously, I know the game.
Yes,
not to
yes.
be in the position I am now. I should have been a coach, but Nick was always. What I remember about watching you when you were younger and in practice, always aggressive and always willing to learn it better. And a lot of that's your mentality. As I keep saying, baseball's a mental game.
Yes, it is. It really is. I remember that day in Orlando when we were playing in a tournament. I actually wasn't really happy about my performance, even though on paper you could say it looked good. But I knew I wasn't happy with my performance, and I remember you telling me, giving me tips to learn this, to stay away from that, and I remember implying them, and the next time I was on the mound, I did.
And you took some advice, and I really appreciate that because, you know, I'm not a novice in the game, but I know enough about the game sitting in the press box watching. Some people say, Rich, you should be a scout. Maybe I should. They make more money than me. But your grades, that's real important. And I hope you're keeping up with them because you always had that top average. By the way, let me pick your ear about MLB a little bit. Did you watch the All-Star game?
I did watch the All-Star game.
Now, I don't know if you heard me before. I ranted and raved, as I always do, as you know, about the home runs.
Oh,
That's not baseball to me. That wasn't big. I don't want to see home runs. I want to see baseball.
Yeah.
Now you, younger, this new generation of baseball fans and play the game, you like the home run ball, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's exciting.
Even as a pitcher, you like that?
Not against me. If I'm pitching on the mound, no, I don't like it.
No, of course not.
If I'm in the dugout and my team's up and I see home runs, yeah. Or if I'm watching the TV and they're hitting home runs, yeah, I don't mind.
How do you approach throwing a fastball at a hitter? All right, two questions. Make it a two-part question. Striking out a guy, what does that do to you? Because strikeouts are a big part of this game now.
Yes, it's very true.
What does it do to you?
It builds my confidence a lot. Knowing that I was able to either like blow a fastball past a guy or fool a guy with a curveball or change up something off speed, it just boosts my confidence very much. So I know I could get the next guy and try to do the same exact thing.
And then when you give up a home run ball, and I know you don't give up many, how do you react to that and overcome that, come back and do the right thing?
I learned from it. At first, you might be sad or you might be upset at yourself, but you learn from it. Maybe you threw a fastball right down the plate when it's supposed to be a little more outside. And it's like, all right, you can't do that no more. Especially for him,
That's
you can't do that no more.
Yes. Right? And how do you approach your secondary pitches? Because you said a curve you have. What else do you have in your repertoire?
And a curve and a changeup.
And how's that going?
Good. It's good to throw them for strikes if you can. And to get the batter out when you have two strikes is very helpful.
All right, Nick Texador, did I pronounce your name right?
Texador, yeah, you did it right.
All the years I've called this guy Mark Teixeira, because I always thought you spelled his name like Teixeira, but it's not. But you will be one day in the major leagues, I know that. You can forget all about me,
oh, no,
which you all do.
I'm going to keep in touch with you.
Yeah, you all forget about me. Nick, the thing is, the way baseball is today, and it's changed, and I don't like the way the game is going. I really don't. But in college, you're learning more and more. Yes. What division is your school in? They're not Division I, are they?
No, we're actually part of NAIA, not NCAA.
Okay, that's pretty respectable.
Yeah, we play a lot of...
Any chance you'll go to a Division I school, or are you staying where you are?
My goal is to get better, and wherever it takes me, it takes me.
Right. Have any scouts looked at you yet?
Not that I know of.
No, but you look forward to that one day,
yes,
right?
Yes, I do.
And I think one day, from what I've seen over the years with this young man, when it was a TM Baseball Academy and now the Baseball Training Institute, Nick Texador.
Yes.
I got it right.
There you go.
Is headed to the big time game of baseball, the major league level. And knowing you, how your work ethic is, and the type of player you are, and a great young man as well, I know you're going to get there, my friend.
I appreciate
that.
that.
But I got to ask you one thing. Do you wear a Met hat or a Yankee hat?
I wear a New York hat.
Oh, okay. That's a good answer. There you go, Nick. I know you're in a rush.
Appreciate it.
When do you go back to school?
I leave August 18th, and I have to be there August 20th.
You ready?
So ready.
You ready to go back? Okay,
Yes.
let's have dinner. Dinner is on me when you're ready, okay?
Got it.
All right. Nick Texador, a Baseball Training Institute alumnus, now playing for
Montreat College.
There you go. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Back with more All Bases Covered Sports with Rich after this. Great. You're hungry, morning, day, or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. You know, I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
Do you have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we do them with London broil. Our turkey Phillies are also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ashra Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great price. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Nah, maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder?
You're listening to the All Bases Covered Radio Show. Sports Talk with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
All Bases Covered Sports with Rich. The Undertaker is in the house. He's back. And he will be Brandon. Be careful. I know. I see you. Calm down. He's okay. He's a good guy.
You sure?
Yeah, there's been a spotting of him. He's in the area. He might be in the studio. I don't know. You're here. Hey, Brandon. Nick was really great.
Oh yeah, I was able to watch him, and it was amazing. I hope nothing but best of wishes to him in his career.
See, the Baseball Training Institute. That's one thing about him. We were from their studios here in the Bronx. All Bases Covered Sports with Rich. Ashra Mini Market and Rob at Razor Sharp. Get all your razor needs. Don't forget our sponsors. One thing that you know, when a young man comes in this place, they progress and they go on to college. That was an example of it.
Definitely.
And I've seen him grow up. I'm just amazed at how this he's not a kid no more. He's a young adult doing what he wants to do.
As you said, since the 8th grade, it's great, and he keeps coming back to not only learn more, but to still just hang out with you guys, his friends and people he's met here, and just stay connected. That's the best part about this place.
Yeah, I know it is. Big John in the locker room. Now, we wanted John to go in and do some bunting tips because, as you heard me earlier tonight on the show we started, baseball's not baseball. We saw that in this fiasco of an all-star game. All home runs, Brandon.
I didn't mind it.
No, because you're in that generation that loves it. I'm not. All right? I wanted John to show you what a bunt looks like, but they're busy training. We wanted to get Steve, one of the trainers, in to show John how to bunt. But over the last few weeks, John has been here, out of the locker room, put the cleats on, and got some tips from Tony, from Anthony, and Steve as well. And Steve is going to be with us next week to do it. In the meantime, John got the bat in his hand in the locker room.
Yes, Rich.
And John, what did you learn the past few weeks?
Well, I learned when we started off, we did regular batting fundamentals in the cage. That's what we did.
Not with a mini bat like you have in your hand.
No, it was bigger. It was bigger. This is like a pee-wee bat.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. You're dwarfing that bat with your size.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it look good.
Yeah. So what did you learn?
What do you mean, the first week when I did
No,
the bat?
what did you mean? You learned the planet Mars. He's an astronomer. You know,
They teach that here now too?
Astronomy.
Yeah? They teach that in the baseball institute,
No,
astronomy?
but John loves that. He'll take a walk with me when it's dark out. God, he should come to Phoenix with me and see how.
Oh, he would love
see
it
the
there.
planets right up there in the sky. Yeah, but you're not coming.
Oh,
All right.
boy, poor
So, John,
Yes, Rick.
again, show us again what you learned.
Okay, what I learned was basically they weren't throwing the ball at like a high velocity or anything from the machines, but basically they just tossed the ball up like this, and I just hit it about 10 pitches, bang. That was the second week we did it. That was the batting fundamentals, and I just hit it, and I hit it really good, bang. Then the following week was fielding drills with the great Tony Melendez, and I did really good there, fielding. You take the ball like this, the glove, I don't have the glove here, you cup it like that. And that was it.
Now, you obviously you learned a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You play softball, so you can apply that a little bit to softball.
Yeah,
right?
retired now, but I used about a 35, 36-inch bat.
Woo.
Yeah.
So,
you have to.
so if you had to grade yourself right now, what you learned from the Baseball Training Institute, from Tony, from Anthony, from Steve, how do you grade yourself?
About a B minus, truthfully.
I wonder, Brandon, can we give him a B minus?
I have no. Will you give him a B minus? This is
No.
No, of course you wouldn't.
I'm
Why
a
would
tough
you do
grader.
that? Yeah.
I'd give him a C.
I would
I
hate.
knew Rich was like college or high school, like a professor. Give me a D minus or C.
Hey, listen, John.
Yang,
on now.
Yang behind the camera, my efficient Yang. I mean, he does an A job here every week. What do you think?
I think John is doing pretty good. Learning the fundamentals of fielding and
Yes.
hitting.
Okay.
I look forward to seeing him bunting because that was something that you mentioned.
Right.
That's not in the game anymore.
No, we're going to do it
So you're
next
gonna
week for
teach
sure.
John how to bunt.
Next week
Thank
for
you,
sure.
man.
Why bunt when you can hit home runs?
Well, but as you see, John has learned. All right, John, put the bat down because I don't want you to attack me when I ask you a couple of questions.
No, I like
He's
it.
in the locker room. John, you're a baseball nut, as well as all sports, but I know you love the game.
Yes.
Do you agree with me about baseball and the home run ball not being the thing? Get it back to where it should be? Play baseball?
I disagree with you, Rich. I think, the home run derby is set for the home run derby. I didn't want to disagree with you. But really, people love to hit the home run. They love that. And they were great because it was in Washington Nationals, D.C., right? Nationals Park. They wanted Bryce Harper to be the hometown hero. He was. He wanted. He was down by 10.
Well, no, what about the game itself?
Oh, the game itself was great. You
Why?
loved
Because there
that.
were 10 home runs?
Yes.
Well, maybe yes. Brandon. I
But
think
that's
right.
not baseball.
It is because you have the offset, Rich, not to throw you off or anything, but it's true. These relief pitches were bad, so guess what? All the power hitters showed their skill. And America saw it. Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Scooter Gennett, George Springer, back-to-back with, what's his name, Brandon?
Bregman.
Alex Bregman.
Alex Bregman, yes.
And then when you're sitting in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium as one of them,
Yeah.
of course you love the home run ball because Yankee Stadium's made for the home run ball.
As it should.
And as a Yankee fan, you love that.
Yeah, and I'm going to one of the Yankees-Mets games, and I want to catch a ball out there.
And if you don't,
Then someone else catches it.
but go back to the question. Baseball is not just a home run ball. It's not just about striking out someone. All right? I'm a purist. I go back. I want to see bunting, which you were going to show us how to do, but you'll do it next week. I want to see hit and run. I want to see sacrifices. I want to see guys gun down at the plate or at another base. All we're seeing is home runs.
Well, actually, speaking about the fundamentals really quickly of bunting, that's where the managers show their expertise. If Gardner's on first and the next guy comes up, you might have to bunt to get him over. That's the manager's call.
All right,
I agree with that.
Yeah, there's a managerial opening in St. Louis for next year. You want it?
I think
Yeah, I'll
John's
take it
perfect.
if I can leave New York. What's going on?
That's Big John in the locker room, who learned a lot the last few weeks. Next week for sure, John, get the bat ready, put the cleats on. Steve, advertise that here. More Sports with Rich, all bases covered. Acer Mini Market, and also Rob, Razor Sharp, all your needs. They sponsor us each and every week. We'll wrap it all up and say goodbye till next week after this. You're hungry, morning, day or night? This is the place to go. Acer Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Acer Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we do them with London broil. Our turkey Phillies also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Acer Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder?
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
Sports with Rich, all bases covered. Facebook Live, Twitter, Instagram, wherever your social media outlet is. We're here every week. One more show next week on tape for you, and then we go live, Brandon, in September.
Can't wait.
And what we'll do then is give you the launch date for the live show, and you'll be able to mingle in, all of you out there, on Facebook Live. Don't forget, log on to the Facebook Live page, Sports with Rich, all bases covered.
Yeah.
Like the page, you get the link of the show, and then go live in September. We'll take your phone calls, and you'll be able to chat with us when we're online. Brandon, another quick hour and a half, 2 hours of show. A lot of baseball talk, of course. Hey, John learned a lot, didn't he?
He definitely did, and I can't wait to see him learn how to bunt. I'm sure he's going to perfect that as well.
He's got to put different cleats on, and he will. He'll be
You think
ready
so?
for it. And we're also going to, a week after that, we're going to take a month hiatus, and when we come back in September, we'll be ready for the baseball stretch run.
Yes.
And then John's going to put some pitching off the mound.
Whoa.
And we'll see what he can do to strike someone out. Hey, Brandon, a great NBA, NFL report again
Thank you very
earlier.
much.
Interesting to see that Carmelo Anthony's on the move again.
Yep.
And the Spurs keep making moves, the Lakers. And before you know it, we get into the fall. God, I don't know where the summer's gone. The NBA will be here, and the NFL. We'll be ready to go next week, talk NFL. I know the Hall of Fame game is going to be coming up. and then we have the preseason games,
Yes.
which to me, like baseball, too many preseason games.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Guys get hurt. We're going to wrap it up now. Brandon Colon, Rich Mancuso, and Big John in the locker room, Yang behind the cameras. Sports with Rich, all bases covered. Don't forget, fans, log on to the Facebook page, like the page, and you'll find out everything you need to know about the show and interact with us. And Brandon, we will do one more show next week on tape, and the launch of the live show. Everything will be ready to go. Live phone calls from our friends and followers out there, and also interact with us online. That'll be coming in September. So one more show next week tape, then we'll take this hiatus for the month. Enjoy the summer. We have to do
we have
it,
to
right?
at some point.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to Arizona a little bit in between the ballpark and all that. And Brandon, great NBA NFL report.
Thank you very
And
much.
when next week, NFL training camps will be in full swing, and the Hall of Fame game, first preseason game. And by the way, too many preseason games in the NFL, just like in baseball, too much of that before the season. That's how guys get hurt.
Definitely, it's how guys get hurt, and you lose them for the season or long periods of time. But in some cases, guys have to step up, like Dak Prescott for the Cowboys, and that's how things happen. But yes, definitely too many preseason games.
Too many. I never knew why
two at the most.
They do 4. I mean, you got to get guys in shape and ready to play and learn the playbook and the plays and all that stuff. But 4 games, susceptible
Just too
injuries.
many.
It happens every year, too. You hear a guy's going to be out first few games, and that's not great for season ticket holders.
Not at all. They want to see the stars. They want to see the
As
stars.
long as the Arizona Cardinals don't get hurt, I'll be happy. Okay?
I think you should be good.
Yeah. And in the NBA, more news to come. I think it'll slow down a little bit now.
We'll see. A lot of the main guys are pretty much gone. We'll see who Carmelo Anthony decides to play with next season. And after he's gone, I think that's pretty much it. Things will start to die down, and we'll prepare for the
But the summer
offseason.
league is over. You're going to still cover the Liberty a little bit.
Yes.
And you have an event coming up in the next day or two. What is it?
Friday, actually. Tomorrow, Friday, July would be the 20th.
Well, we'll be
the
taking,
basketball
it'll
tournament.
be already done.
It'll be done by the time this
aired,
comes out, yes. But the basketball tournament, which is where teams from all around the country fight for $2 million. And so I'll be there. They have teams from college alumni, like the Syracuse Orange. They have alumni teams there, the VCU Rams. And they just go out there and try and fight for $2 million. And they'll be out in Brooklyn, LIU.
Yeah, LIU, my old stomping grounds years ago with the Associated Press. By the way, next week, don't come on with the Yankee hat and the shirt.
Maybe not the shirt, but the hat's here to stay.
No, it's not necessary. I'm going to put that Met cap on, will you? And the Undertaker, maybe. We cited him. He's around. We know that.
He makes me nervous.
Well, you shouldn't be. He's a really good guy. When you think about it, rest in peace.
Okay.
Home runs, and you like that.
Yes.
Why?
Listen, Rich, I do love the other aspects of the game. I do love the bunting, the hit and runs. I love to see guys out there playing defense. But the home runs, I mean, as a fan, like all you want to do is be out there and catch a home run ball. And the more opportunities these fans get, the better it is.
But that's not baseball. As I've been saying for the last hour and a half or more, it's more than the home run. It's the bunting. It's the sacrifice. It's the hit and run. I want to see baseball, and I don't want to see an all-star game next year.
You don't want to see that at all?
Game.
It's gone.
I don't think so. I'm just totally, like Wally Mathews said on our show tonight, you know, he didn't watch the game until a day later. He didn't saw any of it.
Found other things to do.
And I'm sure when the ratings come out official, Big John, you could interject on this in the locker room. When the ratings come out for this game, you're going to see, I don't think many people saw it. And if they did, they came to watch, they watched because of a home run ball. Right?
Yeah.
That's not baseball.
Well, you know what they should do really quickly in the All-Star game? Let Chris Sale, let Max Scherzer, let Lou Severino, let them go more innings. If they go more innings...
That can't be done, and you know why. Managers want to protect their pitchers.
And I hate to say it, you're going to see the sluggers come in and do their thing.
Let them go to Cleveland next year. I'm not, but I'll see you here next week, Big John.
You got it.
And you'll have the bat in your hand, and we'll see how you bunt, right?
Yeah, I'll do it.
And then pitching maybe too.
Yeah.
You promised you'd do that.
Oh,
yeah, I'll do it.
All
I
right,
got to practice
good.
a little bit.
John, thanks again, my friend.
Thank you again, Rich.
Keep watching the skies for the planet Saturn, all right?
Jupiter.
Maybe you can go there one day too.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Brandon, great job again.
As always.
Don't forget, tell everyone, log on Facebook page to get Sports with Rich, all bases covered. I can also be read, of course, on NewYorkSportsDay.com, along with Brandon as well. LatinoSports.com, TheBronxChronicle.com, and anywhere else you could find Rich Mancuso on the internet.
He's
My
everywhere.
thanks again to Wally Mathews. He's an old colleague, works for the New York Times now as a freelancer and Forbes.com and many other places. And to you all out there, as always, for supporting All Bases Covered Sports with Rich. Sponsored by H Mini Market in the Bronx and
Razor Sharp. Rob, make sure you go visit Rob, and you're not sharp until your razor sharp.
And the sandwiches from H Mini Market again this week. We want to thank Ray and we want to thank Lewis for doing a great job with the Italian sub. And you might see our sponsors in the studio with us next week. And Big Yang behind the camera. He's not big, by the way. He's built. You don't want to get in scuffle with him. Yang, thanks again. Great job directing traffic and putting the show together for us each and every week. So, with that in mind, till next week, that's a wrap.
Yes, it's
right?
a wrap.
As they say in the biz, I'm Rich Mancuso, All Bases Covered, Sports with Rich, from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx studio. Thank you all. Log on. Keep it in the ring.
You are listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.